So, Dax, Chris, with the Boise Bar Players, auditions are coming up January 24th and 31st.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I auditioned.
Mm-hmm.
What should I do to prepare?
So these are joint auditions between Boise Bar Players and The Luminary, all women-run theater company that we are collaborating with to produce Medea later this year. So we have slightly different audition requirements. We're looking for a 60 to 90 second, minute to minute and a half, Shakespeare verse monologue. Iambic pentameter or structured verse where it can track with the beats as opposed to prose, which doesn't have a structure to it. Shakespeare writes most of his stuff in verse, so if you're not even familiar with Shakespeare, if you throw a dart at a Shakespeare monologue, you're probably going to hit verse. The beginning word of every line is capitalized.
Yeah, and picking a monologue that fits your vibe, one that you're comfortable with, one ideally that tells a story in real time. Right now, I could tell you a story about, let me tell you this one time I watched a movie. That wouldn't be really interesting. That'd be a story about a story. Having a monologue where someone is experiencing something at that time is a good way to go.
Trying to convince their scene partner to do something, to get something, to bring, something where it's not necessarily recounting, as Dakota said, a story that happened previously, but actively working on your scene partner.
Okay. Can you give me tips on how I practice?
Know your story, find the speech that you really enjoy, find one that speaks to you, and then put yourself in the circumstances. What's happening in the play up to that moment? What are you doing with that moment? And then getting real specific about who your scene partner is, whoever you're talking to. Make them someone you know, someone you actually know in your real waking life, so that when you imagine them responding to your words, you have your own personal response to their responses, and that's going to generate the engine of your audition. So practice out loud, practice all the time, learn those words, get them in your body, run them over and over and over and over again, in your car, doing your dishes,
Taking a shower, going to bed at night,
yes, running them as you brush your teeth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See what it feels like. How does your heart feel? How does your body feel? Because a good monologue, at the end of it, it should feel like you have gone on a journey. And if you feel like you haven't gone anywhere, if you feel like you haven't done anything, then that's a good indication to go back into your piece and see what arguments you're trying to make. Try to track within yourself whether you got what you were looking for or whether you fell just short of the mark of what you were looking for. A good piece feels like you just went down a slide that had a loop-the-loop in it.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't have a headshot.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just have a friend take a picture of me with my phone and print that out in color?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that good enough?
Phones are so good now
Yeah.
that, if you could put it in portrait mode, if your phone does a portrait mode, I would have your friend take a shot of you and then ask some other friends, maybe ask a couple of people, which of those pictures looks the most like you. And have them pick a top 3. Among your friends, have them decide which is your best shot. And the one you're looking for is not the one that makes you look like a different person. It's the one that makes you look like who you are. It's like the most flattering picture of your spirit, of your vibe, of who that person is. So if you're not really a smiley person and you're taking a smiling headshot, but it doesn't really seem like you, then maybe go with one that isn't that smiley. Go with one that's closer to the vibe of your person.
In my headshot, naked?
Clothes?
What kind of clothes?
Yeah, there might be a German theater company out there somewhere that's really avant-garde that asks for that, but aim for professional but not distracting. Patterns, super patterny stuff. I wouldn't necessarily bring this because we want to see who you are and we want to see your face. So if you have a background that's distracting, if you have clothing that's distracting, it's going to take us away from seeing who you are. And so the reason I mentioned portrait mode before is because you can change the focus so that the background winds up being blurred and your face in the foreground is more in focus, because that's what it wants to be, is we want it composed in such a way that, sure, we're seeing you, and ideally we're seeing your eyes. If you show your headshot to someone who knows you well, and they look at it and they go, whoa, in a good way, that's a good example of
Okay.
Yeah.
That led me to the question at the audition, what should I wear?
Semi-professional, easy to move in, non-distracting. Because it is a job interview, but the job is play acting. Something that helps you Disney-bound your character for auditions.
Yeah, if you're doing a monologue from, say, Rosalind from As You Like It or Viola from Twelfth Night, it might be more helpful to wear some pants just because it's going to put you in the character rather than wearing a skirt. Because if I'm Rosalind and I'm in disguise as a boy, and I'm still wearing a skirt, my body's going to know that I'm wearing a skirt. I'm going to move differently because you don't want to be thinking about your platforms the whole time. You don't want to be thinking about having your own hair in your face the whole time.
Right.
You want to have things that that don't distract you.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a skinny jeans human, it might be like, too skinny.
Right.
Your verse gets all locked up at your waist. So find things that let your...
If I'm thinking about my clothes while I'm auditioning, I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And not nude.
Correct.
Yeah.
At least
Okay, all right.
For us, yeah.
I've never written a theater acting resume.
There's
1,000,000%.
plenty of templates and great examples out there. Ideally, a theater resume, as opposed to like your traditional job resume, it's more likely just going to be a big old list of show, character, maybe the director and the company, maybe a date. It shouldn't take up more than one page of your relevant experience, relevant education, relevant certifications or awards, and relevant special skills.
Special skills. Yes.
And pro tip for special skills, never put anything on a special skills section that you aren't willing to do in an audition at the drop of a hat.
If you put cartwheel and velociraptor sounds, we're going to
ask you to do those.
100%.
Tell me about the Luminary, because this year it's different, right? We have the option to audition for both companies.
Indeed. If you want to audition for both, they have a slightly different ask to audition for Funny, which is their first season of the show, or first play of their season, and then Medea, which is the one we're collaborating on. And they are asking for a 90-second or minute and a half long comedic contemporary monologue, meaning a monologue that's funny from a play within the last 5 to 10 years.
To be clear, I can choose just to audition for the Boise Bar Players.
Yeah.
Or I can audition for both companies.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. And at the end of it, you have a classical and a contemporary. If you've auditioned for both companies, and having those in your back pocket is pretty good. That lets you audition for anyone.
Just about anything.
Right. Yeah, good point.
And then to sign up, if you're interested in doing that, you can go to either the Boise Bard Players website, boisebardplayers.org, or to the Luminary, Boise.com, which is the Luminary's website, where there will be a Sign Up Genius link that will take you right to the link to sign up for either Saturday the 24th or Saturday the 31st.
That's amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that information was on the screen just now.
It probably is right at the bottom, right here.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Come audition.
Come audition.